All right. Um, let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Count, I think it was like our third or fourth date. And he says to me, well, I took this girl's virginity, so that's a V in the alphabet, and then I did the alphabet two more times. So you tell me what that number is. And I was like, oh my gosh. Well, there's 26 letters in the alphabet. If you did that twice, I'm pretty good at short math, so that's a lot.
Oh my lord.
That's what he said.
Oh,
Well, there you go. Another clear example of how, you know, of what I said. Obviously, the guy's full of shit. You don't just do that, right? Take the V and all of a sudden you're good. It's not how it works. And two, right? How women are gullible, right? It's like really, but it's not that they believe it. It's more of the audacity, right? The confidence to say, "Well, you do the math. Here you go," right? It's the shock and awe, right? Which I have a quote for somewhere. Um, well, let me put play as I find the quote.
oh my
That guy
gosh.
got ghosted. You were
Yeah, I was
wondering.
gonna say, did you go back out with him or
No,
not?
no. I said thank you so much for the date. I appreciate the
There you go. That's how you get ghosted.
time.
I mean, okay, so what if you would have said the V and the alphabet?
Right.
Like,
That's 27 bodies right,
right.
there. Right.
Like, is that a lot to you?
It depends on how old you are. I mean, if you're 18 and you're already at that number, I mean, I'm not talking to any 18-year-olds, but just for your own perspective, it just depends on your age, your background.
Okay, here we go. Do not make decisions when clouded by emotions. Wait for a clearing and then act. Now, whether the guy was um whether he was telling the truth or not, don't matter. You're dealing with a woman. Right? You must understand that anything you say will be used against you in a court of law, as they say. Right? And sadly, this guy got ghosted because he's a dumbass. Right? You don't say shit like that to women, especially on the third date. Not to mention, you already dropped the damn ball. If you're in a third date, you suck. You haven't done nothing a third date, and barely there on the third date, you're gonna sit there and, well, I did this and I do the math for three. Really? Right? What you did was you were um you were deceived, right, and used for three meals. That's what happened. Um, but anyways, there you go. She was gonna make all her decision making, and this is another freebie for you out there, right? All her decision making is based on emotion. So you can see how your little comment made her feel, and she made her decision of ghosting your sorry ass um, by how she felt in the moment. As you can see, both the interviewee and the interviewer, right, are both reacting to this story, right, that this girl's telling. That's how they will make their decision based on that.
Okay.
Why?
How old are you?
23.
Okay, so if a guy your age had a body count of 27 or double the alphabet, like,
That's a lot. That's a lot of bodies a year. You got to think about how quickly you're getting that in.
right?
You know what? And you know what? I'm gonna end with this because I had this. I could go on and on, right? But I'm gonna call this video is very telling, right? I'm gonna make it really short, very sweet. Um, like I said, here's the irrelevance of all of this, right? This is why I always say think outside the box. This is chess, right? And just like in chess, there's a few moves that you can do. Checkmate with just one or two moves, just like that, right? Like, understand what she's saying, right? If this guy was doing all this bashing, would she really matter? No. Short answer is no, right? If you're doing all this so called, right? getting it in. And this woman means nothing. And because she means nothing, here's the beauty of it. If your bashing was legit and true, then this woman would just be another number. And she wouldn't be sitting there. She'd be, right? She'd be at your door knocking, ready to come in. Which means, and again, this is the thing, right? She's 23, right? And she met this guy who's an ultimate get it in her, right? She wouldn't be doing this damn interview. That's my point, right? Um, which again, you got to. It's just very simple, right? Once you actually understand what I'm saying, right, and how I tell you, just look at what it is for what it is, right? Because sometimes it's the most obvious thing is that goes people right through everybody's head. They never thought of that, right? Because you got to understand how hard it is for us guys to get some, for how hard it is for us guys to get a date, for how hard it is for us to even talk to women, to potentially get a date. And I'm not talking about talking to women of like random bull crap, right? Because anybody can do that. Oh, cute dog, right? Yeah, that's your dog, huh? Well, I had a dog, right? Dumbass shit like that don't matter. I'm talking about when you're talking to a girl that could potentially be a future date. Now you ain't talking about dumbass dogs, right? You're talking about sexual tension, right? Um, Flirting, attraction, right? And playing chess once again, right? So before you even get to that, think about that. This so-called dude that told her, wow, 27 under my belt, right? If I'm this so-called goat, right? The goat when it comes to, women, then you can see she'd be irrelevant, right? And the guy wouldn't have gotten ghosted because he would have known, right, what to do. Which again, that is the point, right? But let's see, what else they got.
I would say for me, the cutoff would be about like 25.
Okay.
20, 25.
And what is it about that number, or like the kind of ballpark?
Well, I'm just when I pick that number, I'm just thinking about like my friends and their counts and their experiences and some of my
Again, see, she's very telling. This one's very telling. She's always talking about her friends, right? It goes to show you, she probably ain't getting any. If I was to assess this girl, I'm thinking she ain't getting any, right? She also can't give it out for obvious reasons because I can see how she's crossing her hands. She's very defensive, right? She's staying face while at the same time her inner self. That's what she talks about her friends. Well, my friends are high, but I ain't getting any. That's what she's really going at, right? But again, that's a whole nother level of understanding of why that is, right? She's in a pickle, a catch-21, meaning, right? She ain't getting any, but she can't give it out either, right? For obvious reasons, because in her mind, she's up there in the ranks, right? So she rather like, it's kind of like the UFC, right? When you're a fighter and you become a champ, and as a champ, the only way you stay champ is by basically staying on the shelf, right? That's how it works. So, because you know that if you defend the belt, you're not the champ, you'll get your ass kicked, right? So, what do? You stay on the shelf because that way you stay the champ, right? But you can't lose the championship either because you're on the shelf, right? So, you end up in this situation, catch 21, where you're no longer the champ, even though you are the champ, right? But because you're not defending the belt, then you're a shitty champ, So you ain't getting action, basically. You're not fighting. Right? That makes sense? Or did I botch the explanation? You ain't fighting. And if you ain't fighting, then you ain't the champ, right? You just ain't, right? Now, yes, well, technicality, you are the champ, right? But you ain't fighting, which is at that point, it defeats the purpose, like I always say, right? So that's where I think she is. She's on the shelf, right? She's a woman, and yeah, she's got value, but if she ain't getting any, right, then what's the point? And that's the point of the Space Luchador. So there you go. Another perfect breakdown by me, right? um, well, let's see what else she has got to say.
My guy friends' body counts. I get you're allowed to have fun, you know, high school.
Here's a little another thing that might prove my point of what I just said. Her friends, if she has so-called guy friends, right, and she's talking about body count, and by this I mean she's opened up the can of worms of talking about relationships and all that stuff, she would be a potential target, right? So that right there, right off the bat, shows you that she is on the shelf, like I said, right? Because these guys ain't trying to get it. And two, these guys are probably full of shit because, again, they're probably not trying to get it. Because I'll tell you right now, if I had access to this chick, right, and I knew her situation, and I am who I am, right, I've been trying to get it. So you can best believe I would get it. So there you go. And anyway, yeah, you know, again, pretty raw, pretty messed up, but that's really how it works. Really, it really is. It's a matter of playing chess, right? And look at this. You can see, right, all sorts of little signs right there. Big sign, right there. Another sign. Boom. All right. Now, yeah, you know, you got material to work with, right? If you get my drift. But let's continue.
In college, it's a lot of experimenting, and it's so I do understand that. But if you're asleep,
You heard the stuttle? I mean, the stutter, or the little pause of a lot of experimenting means, and then the pause is like, I mean, I see people doing experiments, but you know, I see it from, I see it from behind the class, right? And I want to raise my hand, but nobody ever picks me. You're on the shelf. So once again, proving what I just said. There you go. That's how you catch it, right? Right there, perfectly showed you how it's done. That's how you know. But you know, anyways, yeah, there it is, right? Can I explain it any better?
sleeping with a lot of people, and in your I want to say like maybe 25, you're getting in your mid 20s. It's just like a turn off personally.
Look at that. You saw
because
that?
I like men who, you know, they want to find a good woman to be.
Heard that? They want to find, right? And keyword men. 2022. Sadly, she knows like, oh, I want men, but she can't seem to understand where they're at. Where's all the men? Is what you say. You can see it in her eyes. I see it. Right? Because obviously I'm watching it through the man's point of view.
With. They want to find a good lady to have next to their side. Not, again, going back to what I said, not just running around and sleeping with anybody or anything.
Okay, so
There you go. Once again, there it is. The evidence is right there, and I placed it in front of you. You heard that? It's like not trying to do anybody or anything. Once you throw the anything, she's proven in her own way she's got a toy or two. And here's the beauty of it again. It's like pushing it to the guys are doing anything, right? So it's like a little slip of saying, you know, guys are she's assuming dudes will do anything. Right? And by do I mean, you know, the deed with anything. So she gets that, and at the same time she threw, you know, she's got a toy or two, which proves again, once again, it only makes my case stronger. So there you go.
the same way that a lot of girls would prefer a guy who maybe makes a good amount of money or is a certain height, I think a lot of men would then prefer to be with a girl who maybe hasn't slept with a lot of people. Do you think that this is a fair
We
preference?
would prefer that, but if it's there, we'll take it. So, and there's only one way to find out, anyways, right? So it's irrelevant to be like, oh yeah, like a dumbass guy. And this again defeats the whole video. That question alone just threw out this video out the damn window, right? It's like, well, guys prefer, right? Well, how the hell do you think you would have to find that? How do you find that out? By asking the dumbass questions. Now, if I established already that the fact that you asked the question, right, to this girl of her body count, would which would destroy this girl because obviously she's got none, right? So that alone fucks that situation up. Then you asking it fucks your situation up. So you could see why asking the question, right, or trying to find that out, like you said, the preferable number. It this is the part where that's why, and now I understand why everybody's so confused, right? Why everybody doesn't get it, why people are struggling, right? Because it's something so simple that it goes past everybody's head, right? When if you really sit down and just think about it, well, how the hell would you even find out, right? If it's a low body count, what's the way? You would ask, but if you ask, it fucks this up. Like I said, right? It just broke it down for you. Fucks up her situation. Like she feels like that, she ain't getting any. Fucks up your situation because now she sees you ain't a man, right? Or know what you're doing. And there you go. Didn't work. And she's right back on the shelf. Looking pretty or whatever, or sad or pissed or whatever the hell. Yep, no action. Right? And then you got everybody else looking at the shelf, can't afford it. So there you go. And I'll end with this because this has gotten pretty long. I'm not even halfway on this video, right? And like I said, I have a lot to say, but I think at this point I kind of made my point, right? To show you that at the end of the day, doesn't really matter, right? You get to see it's in the detail. You don't really have to go all the way to find out the basic thing. Moral of the story here, right? Do not ask, right? For practicality, for purpose, and for use. Meaning, if you ask, you're screwing yourself. 2, search and you will find. So don't search for shit you don't want to find. And 3, right? You don't want to mess up the situation because then it defeats the purpose, right? And be smart, right? Understand, don't show your hand either because then you look like a dumbass, right? You ever heard what a gentleman is, right? A gentleman is not the classic nice guy. A gentleman, and just keep this in mind, a gentleman does not tell. That's it. A real gentleman just doesn't tell. That's it. You can show, but you can't tell. So there you go. I end with that. Space Lucha out on this long ass reaction video of body counts. That's probably part 4. So there you go. If you like, once again, give me a like, a share, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you agree, if you don't agree, right? If you think this is a 50-50, I want to know why you still think this is 50-50. And if you're a guy, I really want to know what makes you believe that this is a 50-50 thing. What happened to you as a young boy, right, growing up, that you still think somehow this is 50-50? And most likely it's this belief, more of a want. You want it to be 50-50, right? You want it to be 50-50. And the only way you want it to be 50-50 is because you can't handle the 100%. So you want to lay the 50% that you cannot handle on the girl, and that makes you, guess what? Spoiler alert, less of a man. So there you go. I gave the answer right there for all of you. But anyways, I didn't want to lose followers or anything, right? It's just the harsh truth, right? Sometimes I gotta give you harsh love, right? It really is that simple. So keep that in mind. That's probably gonna be the next video, the 50-50, even though I kind of spoiled it already. But there you go. Space Lucha on this one. I'll see you on the next one.